Y'all, this fluffy pineapple pie recipe is from my mom's 1941 Better Homes and Garden cookbook. This thing has seen better days, but it is a chunk of history. It's got recipes that she's cut out from newspapers and magazines from all the way from the 1930s all the way up to the 2000s. And I just love it. But this recipe was an original to the 1941 cookbook, and so I wanted to share it with y'all. It's so easy and it's so good. You're gonna need 24 Nilla wafers, and this is for the crust. We're gonna make the crust last, so I'm just gonna set these aside. You're going to need a 14-ounce can of pineapple, crushed pineapple, drained. I couldn't find a 14-ounce can. I don't even know if they make them anymore. I am using a 20-ounce can, and I am sure that it's going to be fine. It's been fine before. So that's an adjustment we're just going to make. Once you drain the crushed pineapple, you want to save 2/3 of a cup of the juice. Okay? You're going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar, a pinch of salt, 3 tablespoons of flour, half a cup of heavy cream, 1 egg, and 16 marshmallows quartered. Or you can use 64 mini marshmallows. Back then they didn't have mini marshmallows, so I kind of figured that cutting the regular size marshmallows in fourths would make them about the size of a mini marshmallow. I was going to show y'all, I was just going to do it 100% according to the recipe, but I started cutting these marshmallows into fourths, and it was long, sticky, difficult business, and I just don't have time for that. So I'm just going to put the marshmallows in whole because they're going to melt anyway. So the smaller marshmallows melt more quickly. It makes it a little easier, but you can use the big marshmallows and just throw them in there. And I think that was it. I'm a little flustered because this is my 4th take on this. I've messed up the other 3, and I'm just hoping I don't mess this one up. So I'm going to go over it one more time, what you're going to need, just in case I miss something. You're going to need Nilla wafers. You're going to need marshmallows. You're going to need egg, sugar, cream, heavy cream, and you can also, if you want to substitute Cool Whip for the heavy cream because it's going to be whipped up anyway, you can do that. Flour, a pinch of salt, crushed pineapple, and the juice from crushed pineapple. And I believe that is it. All right, we are going to mix the sugar, the flour, and a pinch of salt. You can probably leave that salt out if you don't want to put it in there. It's not going to make that much difference either way. It does help balance the sweetness though. And then we're going to just whisk in the pineapple juice. And you want to start whisking before you actually add the juice. Whisk out as many lumps of the flour as you can see. And then you're going to turn on the heat just to a medium flame, medium heat if you've got electric. And just whisk constantly. And you're going to whisk it constantly until it thickens. All right, it's starting to thicken, as you can see. Like as I stir, you can see the bottom of the pan. Once that happens, you're going to want to remove it from the heat for just a minute. And then you're going to want to add it a little bit at a time to your beaten egg, just to temper it. And the easiest way to do that is to grab a little bit of it with a spoon. See how thick that is? And then just add a little at a time, stirring the egg the whole time, because you want the egg to come up to the same temperature as the pineapple stuff. This is not the best or easiest way to do it, and if I wasn't making a video at the same time, I would actually be like on the counter and doing it differently, but this works for now. Once you've got the egg tempered, you're going to put it back on the heat, and you're going to add the egg a little bit at a time, and you're going to whisk constantly, because You do not want to turn this into scrambled eggs. Now you're going to want to cook it for about 2 minutes and whisk it constantly during that time. Once you whisk it for 2 minutes, you can go ahead and put in the marshmallows. And I would take the whisk out and use a rubber spatula at this point. Now I'm going to turn the heat off while I'm melting these. If they don't melt all the way, then I'll turn the heat back on if I need to. But I don't want to risk overcooking our base, our pineapple and flour and sugar base. So I'm just going to stir that, and like I said, this is where the mini marshmallows would be better because they're going to melt even faster. But I'm just going to keep stirring that until the marshmallows all melted. You have to turn it back on for just a minute, just to heat it up again and get those marshmallows melted. They're almost melted all the way. So I'm just going to keep stirring them, and make sure that you're scraping the bottom of the pan and the corners of the pan so that nothing's getting scorched in there. This is a lot of sugar and egg, and the potential for scorching is definitely high. All right, it looks like all of the marshmallow is melted. And so we're going to fold in the crushed pineapple. And I don't know what they mean by folding in, but I'm just going to dump it in there. Doesn't that look good? We want to mix that in there good. Scrape the sides, scrape the bottoms, make sure that we've got it all in there. And then I'm just going to cover that with a little plastic wrap, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for an hour. So I'll see you guys back here in an hour. Okay, y'all, it has been not quite an hour, but I'm going to go ahead and do the crust now. So this crust is kind of unique in that it doesn't have any butter in it. So you're going to count out 12 of the Nilla Wafers. 3, 6, 9, 12. And then go ahead and take the other Nilla Wafers out. And I'm just going to blend these up to crumbs. Okay, once we've got the crumbs all blended up, we're going to just pour them into the pie plate. No butter, no anything, no sugar. Keep in mind, if you find a lumpy piece, go ahead and take it out. But keep in mind that this was 1941 that this recipe was published, which was just, during the time of World War II, and a lot of people just coming out of the Depression, a lot of people were on rations and things. So this was actually a pretty luxurious pie for then, although I think these days we would probably do it a little bit differently. All right, so you want the crumbs to cover the bottom, and then you're going to take the Nilla Wafers, and with the flat side in and the kind of puffy side out, you're just going to set them up around the side of the pie plate, just like that. And that's lots of fun. Now, I do not know how big Nilla Wafers were in 1941, but they may have been bigger, so you may need more than the ones that you have left. So be sure that you save some out of the box. Don't sit there and eat them all before you make this pie. But it looks like it's going to be just about right. Well, maybe they're a little bit smaller now. Everything else is smaller, so it stands to reason that Nilla Wafers would be smaller too. Okay, so we're going to put the last one in. Whoops. And honestly, they are just sitting there balanced against the edge. When the filling goes in, it's going to kind of stick the crumbs down, and it'll work. I promise you, it'll work. You can look at the pictures on the blog. It works fine, but it's just a little strange to do it. All right, so we've got that, and we're going to set that aside. Okay, now we're going to whip the cream, and I'm just going to put the heavy cream in here. And I'm going to use a hand beater, also called a Dover beater. And this was my mom's, and you just put it in there and just do like that, and pretty soon you've got whipped cream. It works much faster than almost an electric beater. Crazy. Okay, that looks about right. It's nice and thick, holds a peak, doesn't fall off the spoon super easy. That's exactly what you want. It's still light and fluffy. Now, sometimes when I'm using whipped cream, I will put a teaspoonful of vanilla instant pudding mix in it to help it hold, and that will keep it from breaking down. It makes it much easier to fold into things. I don't have any of that on hand right now, but I just want you to know that if you're using whipped cream instead of Cool Whip, it's an option to put like a teaspoon and a half of dry instant vanilla pudding mix and whip it in with the whipped cream. The recipe does not call for sugar to be put in the whipped cream. The filling is really, really sweet with the marshmallows that are in it. So you don't need to, but if you'd like to put a little bit of sugar in there, you can. I'm going to take the plastic off and just check this. It's had a good chance to cool. It's soft. It's about the consistency of, I don't know, actually it's almost the same consistency as the whipped cream. I'm going to put the filling in a bowl for two reasons. One, it's easier to fold in that way, and two, it's going to be easier for you to see what I'm doing. This smells so good. So now we're going to fold the whipped cream in, and to do that, we're going to take a spoonful of it, not quite half, and we're going to fold it in with an under and over motion of a rubber spatula. If you don't have a rubber spatula, you can use a spoon, but it's just kind of easier because the spatula is flat. And what we're doing right now is we're folding the whipped cream in to lighten up this mixture before we add the rest of it. And doing it that way means there's less chance of it losing all the air and flattening out. So you just over and under, or under and over, however you want to say it, and turn the bowl and do it again. And just keep doing that until most of the white streaks of the whipped cream disappear. Okay. Now we can put the rest of it in there. And if you're using Cool Whip, you're going to do the same process as far as folding it in. And then we'll just fold that in. And we'll fold that in the same exact way that we did before. Over and under, or under and over, however you want to say it. Turn in the bowl. Do not get in a hurry with this because you don't want to lose the air that you've whipped into the cream. Now, once we've got that all folded in, we're going to grab the pie crust and spoon this right in the crust. And you can see it really is a fluffy pineapple pie. As it chills, because it's going to have to chill again, the pie filling will actually help stabilize the crumbs on the bottom. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want this pie to come out in really pretty slices, you're going to have to freeze it. There's just no way around it. It is a fluffy, delicious, somewhat messy pie. So keep that in mind, that if you want those really pretty slices, go ahead and freeze it instead of just chilling it. Smooth out the top, and it is ready to be chilled in the refrigerator for 30 minutes or in the freezer if you want those really pretty slices. Okay, y'all, I've had this in the freezer for 30 minutes. Now, the recipe says to refrigerate it for 30 minutes. I think it's a little too soft when it's refrigerated for 30 minutes, so I like to freeze it for 30 minutes. Either way is fine. If you can leave it overnight, that's all the better. As far as if you're going to keep it in the refrigerator overnight, it cuts better. But if you just put it in the freezer for 30 minutes, it should cut just fine. Should be the key word here, right? So that's what we're going to do. And fingers crossed, this is definitely a fluffy pineapple pie, as the title promises. This makes an 8-inch pie. I don't know if I told y'all that this was an 8-inch pie dish. People didn't used to eat big desserts back then, I guess. They just ate little ones. So, let's see. I'm going to try to get this out. And right on my plate. Left a few little crumbs in the bottom, but y'all, does that not look good? It's fluffy, it's creamy, it's absolutely no baking. So good. And worth every single bite. Y'all, this is such an easy pie, and it's so classic for mid-century, mid-20th century. Easy, creamy, and just good. Not fancy, not crazy or anything like that. Now, it is a really kind of plain pie. You could put maraschino cherries on it. You could save a few crumbs to sprinkle on top. It would be delicious. But if you want to just make it quick and easy, do that too. Now, this will stay in your freezer. It freezes really well. And like I said, it cuts better once it's been frozen. Or it cuts better if it's slightly frozen. And I've got a couple of pineapple pies on the blog. My glasses keep slipping down my nose. I've got a couple of pineapple pies on the blog, and one's a cream cheese pineapple pie, and they're all good in their own way, but there's just something about this one. Maybe it's because my mom used to make it, I don't know, but I just think it's delicious. I love it. I hope you're gonna love it too. And that's it for today. I love y'all, and I will see you next week. Please don't forget to come back. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, nice comment, and subscribe if you haven't done that. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Love y'all. Bye-bye. I'm gonna eat some of this pie.